Welcome back to Coin Tool. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of coin collecting, and more specifically, we're going to explore everything you need to know about the 1963 Lincoln 1-cent penny. That's right, this tiny copper coin might just be worth more than a penny if you know what to look for. So let's jump straight into it. The 1963 Lincoln penny is part of the famous Lincoln cent series, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. This series was the first United States coin to feature a real historical figure, which was a major shift in American coin design. Before Lincoln, U.S. coins typically displayed symbolic images like Lady Liberty, but Lincoln changed all that. Now, the 1963 penny was minted at two locations, Philadelphia and Denver. If your penny has a little D mint mark just below the date on the front, then it was minted in Denver. If there's no mint mark, it came from Philadelphia. So what makes this coin special? Well, first of all, the 1963 Lincoln cent was struck in copper back when pennies were still made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. These older copper cents are becoming more desirable to collectors and investors because they contain more valuable metal than the newer pennies made today, which are mostly zinc with a thin copper coating. Now let's talk mintage. In 1963, over 754 million pennies were produced at the Philadelphia Mint and over 1.7 billion at the Denver Mint. That's a lot of pennies, but even though they were made in huge quantities, some 1963 pennies have special qualities that make them far more valuable than just face value. Let's talk condition, because collectors value coins based on their condition, or what we call grade. A regular 1963 penny in circulated condition may only be worth a few cents, but if it's in uncirculated condition or has been professionally graded as mint state or MS, it could be worth a lot more. For example, an MS-65 red 1963 penny can fetch anywhere from $5 to $15 or more depending on the market. And that's not all. There are also rare varieties and errors that collectors absolutely love. One of the most sought-after errors from the 1963 penny is a double die error. This happens when the coin is struck by a die that was misaligned or struck twice, creating a doubling effect, especially noticeable in the lettering or numbers. If you spot doubling in the word Liberty or the date 1963, you could be holding a coin worth hundreds of dollars. Another thing to keep an eye out for is off-center strikes or die cracks. These are rare, but some examples have sold for $50, $100, or even several $100s depending on how dramatic the error is. The more unusual, the better. Now, you might be wondering how to tell if your penny is valuable. The best way is to closely inspect it, preferably under a magnifying glass. Check the color. If it still has a bright red coppery shine, that's a good sign. Also check for any errors, oddities, or signs of doubling, and if it looks promising, consider getting it graded by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or Anklets. Not forget about the metal value too. Even though it's technically illegal to melt pennies for their copper content right now, many people collect pre-1982 pennies for their copper value because each one contains about 2 cents worth of copper at current prices. So even in bulk, these old coins are becoming more valuable as metal prices go up. So what's the market like today for the 1963 penny? Well, the demand for vintage Lincoln cents remains strong, especially with more people getting into coin collecting as a hobby and investment. The price of high-grade examples has been trending upward, and error coins from this year continue to catch the attention of collectors on sites like eBay, heritage auctions, and other coin trading platforms. To wrap it all up, the 1963 Lincoln 1-cent penny may not look like much at first glance, but it holds a rich history tied to one of America's greatest presidents, and in the right condition, or with the right error, it can be worth far more than just 1 cent. So go ahead and check your pocket change, your coin jars, or those old rolls of pennies hiding in the attic. You never know what kind of treasure you might find. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more coin collecting tips and discoveries every week, and drop a comment below if you've found a rare 1963 penny or have questions about a coin you own. Thanks for watching and happy hunting, where we uncover hidden treasures in your pocket change. Today we're diving deep into one of the most iconic and frequently overlooked coins in American history, the 1964 Lincoln 1-cent penny. This coin might seem like just another old penny to most people, but believe it or not, some of these coins can be worth way more than just 1 cent. So if you've got some spare change lying around or an old coin collection tucked away in a drawer, you might want to pay close attention because you could be sitting on something surprisingly valuable. Let's start with a little background. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the very first United States coin to feature a real person's face on it. Up until then, American coinage featured allegorical representations like Lady Liberty. This was a big deal back then. The 1964 penny continued this long-standing tradition and is part of what's known as the Lincoln Memorial Series, which began in 1959 when the reverse of the coin was changed from the original wheat ears to an image of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. That design lasted until 2008. Now, in 1964, the U.S. Mint produced the Lincoln penny in massive numbers. Over 6.4 billion of these coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint and over 3.8 billion at the Denver Mint, which means they're not exactly rare. But as with most coins, it's not just about how many were made, it's about how many survive in pristine condition and whether there are any errors or unique characteristics that make certain coins stand out. The 1964 Lincoln cent was made from 95% copper and 5% zinc. It weighs 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. The obverse, or front, of the coin features the bust of Abraham Lincoln facing right with the words, "In God We Trust," above his head, Liberty on the left side, and the date 1964 on the right. If there's a small d under the date, it means the coin was minted in Denver. If there's no mint mark, it was made in Philadelphia. The reverse side shows the Lincoln Memorial with the words, "United States of America," above it, "E pluribus unum," just below that, and 1 cent at the bottom. Now here's where things get interesting, because certain features on these coins, especially mistakes or unusual characteristics, can make them far more valuable than face value. So what makes a 1964 penny valuable? First, condition plays a huge role. A coin in uncirculated condition, meaning it was never used and remains in mint state, can fetch much more than one that's worn down and scratched. Collectors use a grading scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin. A 1964 penny in MS65 or MS66 condition can be worth several dollars, sometimes more, depending on demand. Now let's talk about errors. One of the most desirable types of errors on the 1964 penny is the double die error. This happens during the minting process when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between strikes, creating a doubling effect on the letters or numbers. If you see doubling in the words, Liberty, or In God We Trust, or on the date 1964 itself, you may have a valuable double die variety on your hands. Some of these can be worth tens or even hundreds of dollars depending on how dramatic the doubling is and the overall condition of the coin. Another error to look for is the off-center strike, where the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process. The result is a coin that appears lopsided or partially blank. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable it tends to be, especially if the date is still visible. You might also come across coins with repunched mint marks or die cracks, which are small raised lines caused by breaks in the die. These types of errors are not always super valuable, but they're still collectible and can fetch a premium over face value. So, how much is a 1964 penny actually worth today? For the most part, circulated 1964 pennies are only worth face value, just 1 cent. But if the coin is in mint state condition or has a known error, the value can go way up. A typical uncirculated 1964 Lincoln cent might sell for 50 cents to $2 depending on the grade. But if you find a high-grade coin in MS-67 condition or better, you're looking at $10 to $50 or more. Now, if you find a confirmed double die or another major mint error, you could be looking at anywhere from $100 to several $100s, especially if it's a rare and dramatic variety. There are even cases where error coins have sold at auction for over $1,000, though these are extremely rare. If you're interested in finding a valuable 1964 penny, your best bet is to start by checking your old coin jars, or even asking friends and family if they've kept any old change. You can also buy rolls of pennies from banks and go through them, what collectors call coin roll hunting. It's a time-consuming hobby, but for some, it's a fun and inexpensive way to potentially find treasure. And if you do think you've found a valuable coin, make sure to handle it carefully, by the edges only, and consider getting it professionally graded by a service like PCGS or NGC. That way, you'll get an official opinion on its condition and authenticity, which can help if you ever decide to sell it. There you have it. The 1964 Lincoln penny may not be rare in general, but certain examples in great condition or with unique errors can definitely be worth more than just pocket change. Whether you're a serious collector or just someone who enjoys learning a bit of history through everyday items, the Lincoln penny is a fascinating piece of Americana. Who would have thought that a small copper coin could tell such a rich story? Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the history and value of coins you might already own. And hey, let me know in the comments if you've ever found a valuable penny. I'd love to hear your story. Until next time, happy hunting and take care. Today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of coin collecting, and we're going to talk about a very interesting coin, the 1975 1-cent Abraham Lincoln penny. Now on the surface, this might just look like your average everyday penny, but you'd be surprised at how much history and potential value is packed into this tiny little coin. So grab your coin jars and get ready to check those pocket change piles, because you might be holding something worth way more than just 1 cent. First, let's talk a little bit about the history of the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first time in American history that a real person, not a symbol or a concept like liberty, was featured on a coin. And that person was none other than the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, known for leading the country through the Civil War and abolishing slavery. Since then, the Lincoln cent has been in continuous production for well over 100 years, making it one of the most iconic coins in American coinage. Now, when we talk about the 1975 penny specifically, we're looking at a coin that was struck during a time of economic shifts, rising metal prices, and significant changes in the U.S. Mint's coin production. The 1970s were a time of experimentation, and even though the 1975 penny may not be one of the rarest coins out there, certain versions of it are actually quite valuable, if you know what to look for. Let's break it down. First, the 1975 Lincoln penny was minted in 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. If you take a look at your coin and see a little D under the date, that means it was minted in Denver. If you see an S, that means it came from San Francisco. And if there's no letter at all, it's from Philadelphia. Each of these mint locations had different mintages, and that can affect the value slightly, depending on the rarity and the condition. Here's where it starts getting really interesting. While most 1975 pennies were made out of copper, about 95% copper and 5% zinc, some error coins or transitional planchets might contain different metals, making them extremely rare. In fact, certain error coins from the 1970s have been sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. A coin that was struck on the wrong metal blank or with a double die, or one that has an off-center strike or a clipped planchet. These kinds of mint errors can seriously increase the value of a penny that otherwise might seem completely ordinary. Now let's talk about condition. Collectors use a grading scale to assess coins, ranging from poor condition all the way to mint state. A 1975 penny that's been circulated and has lots of wear is probably only worth face value, just 1 cent. But if you have a 1975 penny in uncirculated condition, meaning it has no wear, sharp details, and full original luster, it could be worth a lot more. High-grade examples, especially those certified by grading services like PCGS or NGC, can sell for a premium. A 1975 penny in MS67 red, which is a super high grade with strong color, has sold for upwards of $500 at auction. That's 500 times its face value for a penny. And if we're talking proof coins, those special shiny coins struck for collectors, mostly minted in San Francisco, then the game changes again. A proof 1975's penny in perfect condition can be worth more depending on its grade and how strong the strike is. Another thing to look out for is the color of the coin. Collectors break Lincoln cents into 3 categories: brown, red-brown, and red. A bright red penny, fresh from the mint with full luster, tends to be more desirable than a dull brown one that's been through years of circulation. So even 2 pennies of the same year and mint mark can have totally different values just based on color and condition. Let's move into current market value. As of right now, in 2025, a regular circulated 1975 penny is still worth just 1 cent. But again, condition is king. An uncirculated 1975 penny can sell for between $5 and $25. A high-grade red example certified as MS67 or higher can go for over $100, and in some rare cases up to $500 or more. Proof coins can range from $1 to $10 for lower grades and go up past $50 for top examples. And error coins? Those are the wild cards. If you find a genuine mint error from 1975, depending on the error, you could be looking at values ranging from $50 to several thousand. So, what should you do if you think you have a valuable 1975 penny? First, examine the coin carefully. Use a magnifying glass or a coin loupe and look for errors like doubling on the lettering or numbers, unusual shapes, or missing features. Check the weight if you have a scale. A normal 1975 copper penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If your penny is significantly lighter, it could be struck on a zinc planchet from the early 1980s. Another potential error worth investigating. Then, consider getting the coin graded. A professional coin grading service can authenticate the coin and give it a grade, which can drastically increase its resale value. Coins that are graded and slabbed are easier to sell and usually command higher prices at auction or through private sales. Lastly, keep an eye on the coin market. Prices can fluctuate based on collector interest, metal prices, and even broader economic trends. What's worth $50 today could be worth double that in a few years if demand increases. So to sum it all up, the 1975 Lincoln penny may seem like just another coin in your change jar, but under the right circumstances, it could be worth a lot more. Whether it's a rare error coin, a high-grade uncirculated example, or a perfect proof from San Francisco, there are hidden treasures out there just waiting to be found. Check your change, dig through your coin rolls, and never underestimate the power of a little copper coin from the past. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or interesting, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let us know in the comments, have you ever found a valuable penny? Got a cool coin story to share? We'd love to hear it. Until next time, happy collecting and good luck out there, where we uncover the hidden treasures in your pocket change. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a chance to learn what your coins are really worth. Today, we're diving deep into the story of a small coin with a potentially big value, the 1977 Lincoln 1-cent penny. You might be surprised just how much this little piece of copper can be worth today. The history of the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first United States coin to feature a real person. The original design was created by Victor David Brenner and included wheat ears on the reverse side, which lasted until 1958. Starting in 1959, the reverse design was changed to the Lincoln Memorial, and this continued all the way until 2008. That brings us to our coin of focus today, the 1977 Lincoln Memorial cent. What makes the 1977 penny special? At first glance, the 1977 penny may look like just another ordinary coin in your change jar. But if you take a closer look, there are some interesting details that make certain 1977 pennies much more valuable than face value. To begin with, this coin was struck at 3 locations: the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint, although no proof coins were made for general circulation. The Philadelphia coin does not carry a mint mark. The Denver coin has AD mark. San Francisco coins from 1977 were only made as proofs for collectors. Composition and design. The 1977 Lincoln penny is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This is important because after 1982, the U.S. Mint changed the composition to mostly zinc due to rising copper prices. The obverse of the coin features the bust of Abraham Lincoln facing right with the words, "In God We Trust." At the top, Liberty, to the left, and the year 1977 to the right. The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial with the words, "United States of America," and "E Pluribus Unum," above and 1 cent below. There were no major changes in design in 1977, but some coins from this year are highly sought after for other reasons. Mintage figures. In 1977, over 4.4 billion pennies were produced at the Philadelphia Mint and over 4.2 billion at the Denver Mint. Meanwhile, just over 3 million proof coins were struck in San Francisco. Because these coins were made in such high numbers, you might think they're not worth collecting. But the value is in the condition and the possible mint errors. 1977 penny errors and varieties. Now here's where things get really interesting. Some 1977 pennies have minting errors that make them rare and valuable. Look out for double die obverse errors, which occur when the die strikes the coin more than once in a slightly different position, causing doubling of the date or the letters. These can sometimes be seen clearly with the naked eye or with a magnifying glass. Another type of error is an off-center strike, where the coin's design is not properly aligned. A 1977 penny struck 10% or more off-center can be worth several dollars or more. There are also examples of clipped planchet errors where a piece of the coin appears to be missing. These errors are less common and can command higher prices depending on how dramatic the mistake is. Condition is everything. As with all coins, condition plays a major role in value. A 1977 penny in poor or circulated condition is generally worth only face value. But coins in uncirculated condition, those that have never been used in commerce, can be worth much more. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with MS-70 being a perfect coin. A 1977 penny graded MS-65 or higher can be worth between $10 to $50, depending on demand and quality. Proof coins from San Francisco in pristine condition with cameo or deep cameo features can fetch even more. Current market value. As of now, the current market value for a regular 1977 Lincoln penny in circulated condition remains about 1 cent. However, high-grade uncirculated coins can sell for around $10 to $100, and rare error coins can go for hundreds depending on the uniqueness and demand. In fact, Some 1977 era pennies have sold for over $500 at auction when found in mint condition with certified grading. If you suspect you have one of these, it may be worth submitting the coin to a professional grading service. How to find one? Believe it or not, these coins are still floating around in everyday change. Start checking your pennies, especially those older copper ones. You can also find rolls of old pennies at banks, estate sales, or online marketplaces where people sell unsearched coin rolls. Be sure to use a magnifier and good lighting so you don't miss any important details. Wrap up. So there you have it. The 1977 Lincoln penny may seem like a small and ordinary coin, but under the right circumstances, it can be a valuable treasure. From double die errors to pristine proof coins, there are several reasons why this little cent deserves a second look. Let us know in the comments if you've ever found a rare penny or if you're inspired to start checking your change. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more coin collecting tips, and hit the bell icon so you get notified every time we drop a new video. Thanks for watching and happy hunting. Today's video we're diving deep into the 2007 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny coin. Now, at first glance you might think it's just another ordinary copper-plated coin sitting in your pocket change, but hold up, because some of these pennies have sold for serious money, and there's a fascinating story behind them that most people don't know. Let's get into the background first. The penny has featured the bust of President Abraham Lincoln since 1909, which was the centennial of his birth. The design was created by Victor David Brenner, and it's one of the most iconic images in American coinage. But in 2007, we were just 2 years away from a major redesign that would mark the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth in 2009. So the 2007 penny was one of the final issues of the Lincoln Memorial reverse design. This makes it special for collectors. But that's not the only reason some 2007 pennies are worth more than face value. The real money is in the details and the condition of the coin. First, let's talk about the basics. The 2007 Lincoln penny was minted at 3 different locations: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D mint mark, and San Francisco, which only struck proof coins marked within snow. Here's where things start getting interesting. If you have a 2007 penny from Philadelphia or Denver in uncirculated condition, that is with no sharp details and brilliant luster, it could be worth anywhere from 10 cents up to a few dollars depending on the grade. The highest known grades, like MS-67 and MS-68, can bring in $20 or more on online auctions, but proof coins from San Francisco, those are the shiny mirror-like coins specially made for collectors, are worth even more. A 2007 S-proof penny in perfect PR70 deep cameo condition can sell for as much as $50 to $100 or more if graded by top companies like PCGS or NGC. But wait, it gets even better. There are rare errors and varieties that can send the value of a 2007 penny skyrocketing. Error coins are mistakes made during the minting process, and collectors go wild for them. Some 2007 pennies have been found with double die errors. That means parts of the coin, especially the lettering or Lincoln's profile, appear doubled. This can happen during the striking process. If the die shifts slightly, these double die errors can fetch anywhere from $50 to several $100s depending on the strength of the doubling and the overall condition of the coin. Other known errors include off-center strikes, coins struck on the wrong planchet, and die cracks. An off-center 2007 penny where part of the design is missing due to the misalignment can be worth $20 to $200 depending on how dramatic the error is. A penny struck on a dime planchet. Yes, a penny struck on a smaller dime blank would be a rare mint error and could be worth several $100s or more. Let's not forget about the grading scale. Coins are graded from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin. A coin graded MS-70 or PR-70 is flawless under magnification and is very rare. That's why collectors pay top dollar for those high grades, and it's why coin grading companies are so important when it comes to determining a coin's market value. Now let's take a look at current market trends as of this year in 2025, collectors are actively searching for high-grade 2007 pennies, especially error coins. Online platforms like eBay and Heritage Auctions have seen strong sales, with MS-67 and MS-68 examples selling from $20 to $70, and error coins going for even more so. How can you tell if your 2007 penny is valuable? First, check the mint mark. Is it from Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco? Next, look at the condition. If it's shiny with no scratches and full detail, it might be uncirculated. And finally, check for errors. You might need a magnifying glass or a coin microscope to spot doubling, cracks, or other oddities. If you think you have something special, the best thing to do is submit your coin to a reputable grading service. They can authenticate it, give it a grade, and help establish its value. That small 1-cent coin in your change jar could turn out to be a hidden gem worth hundreds. So the next time you come across a 2007 Lincoln penny, don't toss it aside. Take a closer look. It might just be a treasure hiding in plain sight. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of coins, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more, and drop a comment below letting us know if you've ever found a rare or valuable penny in your change. Until next time, happy collecting and keep hunting.